Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. Every month, members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from a monthly selection, and access to daily news digests from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post, as well as guided meditation programs. Between a full-time job in IT and a full-time job in podcasting, it gets harder and harder to sit down and read the books I'm interested in. This is where Audible comes in. I can listen on my daily commute, relaxing, or while out running errands and still get in the books I've been wanting to get into. You can download titles and listen offline anytime, anywhere. The app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets. Now you can try Audible risk-free with a special 30-day free trial by visiting audibletrial.com/Nerdery and Murdery. That's audibletrial.com/Nerdery and Murdery. Don't let your busy life get in the way of that great book you've been wanting to read. Go get your free trial of Audible today. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. This is Geoffrey, and we've talked about many times before that I experience problems and struggles with my mental health, and really without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy does work. It's helped for me, but what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships at work, or you're not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's really time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles, and it's time to start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And there's a special offer to Nerdery and Murdery listeners. You can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/Nerdery and Murdery. That's betterhelp.com/Nerdery and Murdery. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast.
Sarah was a modern dancer, lean, pristine transparency. Janet wrote bad poetry in a crazy kind of urgency. Tanya Turkish liked to fuck while wearing leather biker boots. Brenda's strange obsession was for certain vegetables and fruits.
Welcome to episode 142 of Nerdery and Murdery.
Big 142. I'm Zig with your nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows and the up and the down, the good and the bad, and the nerd and the murd.
Sweet.
Oh, get myself packed up. I'm headed to Nashville tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to Nashville?
Yep, for work.
Work.
So, yep, I'll be in Nashville for the week. So fly out tomorrow morning, fly back on Friday.
Nice.
I'll fly through DFW both directions.
Yay.
Can't go straight from here. You either have to go through Houston or go through DFW, and I'm going to DFW both times.
Nah, I don't blame you.
So, well, it wasn't my choice. It took the flight as they gave it to me, so, you know. Did want to give a shout out to our listener, Jonathan. He had reached out to me over Facebook Messenger, was talking about how he really loves the show and talks about us to everybody and whatnot. So it was really cool that he had reached out to me. So shout out to Jonathan. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for being a listener.
We love you, Jonathan.
I had two things I was going to tell you about. The first one, I know I always talk about golf, but you know, that's what I do.
It's the golf show.
Yeah. I got a few new golf clubs, and I went out Thursday by myself to play, and I was too close to the cart, apparently. And on my backswing, I hit the golf club on the cart and snapped the head right off of it.
Off the golf club?
Yes, it just snapped. It snapped the shaft.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it sucked. Had to get it repaired. I picked it up yesterday and had to get it reshafted. And so that made me very, very sad because it was not a cheap golf club.
Right on.
And it was only on the second hole, and it happened, and I went, "Yep, I'm done for the day. Nothing good can come out of this. I'm done.
Yes,
I'm done.
I'm just gonna be yelling at the ball like Happy Gilmore."
Yeah. I figured, why continue at this point? The other thing I was going to tell you, which I felt was weird, and this is very, very, very appropriate for the topic you're covering today. I went to karaoke Thursday night with some friends, and I tried to do Sweet Transvestite, and it was pulled due to inappropriate subject matter.
But it's Sweet Transvestite.
I know. And I mean, even the DJ, because used to be when we first started karaoke, and you went in, there was a book because they had CDs,
yeah,
blah blah, and you could only pick from that. Well, now everything has evolved to most karaoke places, they're connected up to the net, and so they can get just about anything.
Just about any song, yes.
But Sweet Transvestite was pulled due to inappropriate content.
I wonder if any of the rest of these songs are on there.
Oh, I'm sure. So, so with that, I'll let you take it over on the nerdery side of the house.
Excellent. Today, kids, we're talking about wildly inappropriate music. Cool. This is another song list, and I think we have 12 in this list because we were going through it this week going, we forgot to put this in there. So, yeah, Geoffrey and I I think Will a little bit too, kind of compiled this list. So, yeah, we're going to talk about 12 songs that are inappropriate but still fun and good. The first one is Ballad of Chasey Lane by the Bloodhound Gang. Now, the Bloodhound Gang is well known for being kind of sophomoric and goofy and sexually explicit, but it's all in good fun. It is all in good fun. This particular song is basically a fan's love letter to a porn star.
It's a love song.
It is a love song. The Bloodhound Gang is an American rock band from Pennsylvania. They were formed in '92 by rappers Jimmy Pop and Michael Daddy Longlegs, now in Wolfpack. The band is known for its crude lyrics, which are full of sexual innuendos and outright sexual discussions. The band has sold more than 6 million albums since its formation, and it's best known for the singles Fire, Water, Burn, The Bad Touch, Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo, Untiss, 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 The Ballad of Chasey Lane, and a hard rock version of the Association's 1966 pop song Along Comes Mary. The Bloodhound Gang's origins date back to 1988 with future band leader James Mark Franks and Michael Bowe, that would be Jimmy Pop and Michael Daddy Longlegs, graduated from Perkman Valley High School. They formed an alternative band called Bang Chamber 8 with classmates Kevin Hennessy and Justin Iannelli. They released an eponymous tape in 1990 before going on to form the Bloodhound Gang in '92. Taking the new band's name from the Bloodhound Gang, a segment of the 1980 PBS kids show 321 Contact that featured 3 young detectives solving mysteries and fighting crime. Franks and Bowe also took on the stage names Jimmy Pop Ali and Daddy Longlegs, respectively. Unable to book shows anywhere else, the Bloodhound Gang first performed in an extra room at the home of future bassist and Jimmy Pop's Temple University classmate Jared Hennigan's house, in exchange for Schlitz beer, Marlboro cigarettes, and a chance to hand out their first demo tape titled Just Another Demo. When the floor caved in one night, they began performing every month at CBGB's in New York City. Now, the Ballad of Chasey Lane specifically is a song by the Bloodhound Gang. It was released in February of 2000 as the third single from their third studio album, Hooray for Boobies. The song reached #1 in Iceland and became a top 20 hit in Austria, Finland, Germany, Spain, the United Kingdom. And according to the band's interview in the BBC, the song was written after Jimmy Pop had seen pornographic film actress Chasey Lane in a clothing ad. When questioned if the infatuation was real, he commented, No, what happened was I saw her in a clothing ad and I was like, she's really cute. So I'm not sure if we started researching Chasey Lane, but she came out and performed at our record with us. And her arms were like hairier than mine and she was dumber than a table. In 2023, lead singer Jimmy Pop tweeted that he regretted that he talked shit on Lane. And she actually hadn't shown up for a video shoot, and her arms weren't hairy, and she didn't come off as dumb. She's just real bubbly. So he did come back and apologize for that after he'd grown up a bit. But yeah, so the Ballad of Chasey Lane basically is a guy writing a fan letter to a porn star. Oh my God.
Yeah,
it is so funny.
I love this song. This song's been in my playlist for years. I mean, everybody needs more Bloodhound Gang in their life.
Yeah. I mean, you think The Bad Touch is a great song. This song's actually way better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the music in this song is great. And in the video, there's a bunch of naked women running around and they keep getting distracted and falling off the stage.
Yeah, that's what I had in my notes. Definitely check out our YouTube page for this episode and see the video. The video is hysterical.
So funny.
Absolutely
so wrong.
hysterical. But I mean, even though wildly inappropriate, this is a great song. I love this song.
And it was a top 20 hit too.
Yeah.
Even though they bleeped the hell out of it.
Yeah, you just have to.
Yeah. I mean, one of the lines is, "You've seen a lot of dick. I've had a lot of time.
Mine.
But you ain't seen. I've had a lot of time. You've seen a lot of dick, Chasey, but you ain't seen mine." I showed off those. In the letter, he's introducing her to his mom and his dad, and then asks her to pull out her boobs. It's hysterical. Not meant to be taken seriously at all.
No.
Oh, God, this is a great one. All right. The next one, 88 lines about 44 women by the Nails. This was my theme song in the 90s. I was a bad man. But I still contend that this is a love song. This is a song about the women who have come through in his life that made his life better. In some cases, actually, nothing's really derogatory in this. And I used to be able to recite this verbatim, word for word. And there are parts of it that I still can't. I just love this tune. There are 2 recordings of it. One that was just done on a Casio, which is kind of crappy, and then one that they re-recorded in 1984. The Nails were originally a 5-piece new wave band formed in Boulder, Colorado in 1976. In Colorado, they were originally named the Ravers. The band members were Mark Campbell, lead vocals and guitar, Dave Kaufman keyboards, Al Leese drums, Artie Freeman lead guitar, and John Cormy bass. The band's roadie Eric Boucher went on to be known as Jello Biafra, lead singer of the Dead Kennedys. In 1977, the Ravers recorded an EP in Boulder with Screwball Records. The Ravers moved to New York in June of 1977 and played the Showcase Club, CBGB's, and Max's Kansas City. Shortly after arriving in New York, the Ravers changed their name to the Nails, because there was already a local band called the Ravers. A 45 of the band's original lineup was recorded in New York City in 1978, but by mid-1978, Lace, Conley and Freeman, now a medical student professor, left the band. By the late 1970s, the Nails had established themselves on the club circuit and were now composed of Campbell and Dave Kaufman, along with bassist George Kaufman, Dave's brother, saxophonist Douglas Guthrie, and drummer Tommy Katonia. Hotel for Women, an EP recorded in 1981, contained an early version of 88 lines about 44 women, again recorded on a Casio. But the song caught the attention of RCA. The Nails were signed to RCA by Bruce Harris, also known for bringing The Clash to America. And in 1984, the group, with new guitarist Steve O'Rourke in tow, re-recorded 88 lines about 44 women for RCA and included it on the Nails' now full-length debut LP, Mood Swings. The song received regular airplay despite a number of double entendres and lyrical references to masturbation and sadomasochism. Both Mood Swings and they recorded a second album, Dangerous Dreams. They both made it to the Billboard Top 200 charts, and they were critically acclaimed. However, following the release of Dangerous Dreams, the Nails left RCA and didn't release another LP or compact disc. 88 Lines About 44 Women continued to be appeared for 20 years after its release on different 1980s new wave compilation albums. It also appeared in a Mazda television commercial that aired in the late 1990s. Again, I don't know how they did that. Mark Campbell and David Kaufman of the Nails wrote 88 Lines About 44 Women in a Manhattan loft. The rhythm track for the song was pre-programmed on a Casio keyboard. The lyrics describe 44 different women, their habits, and their personalities. Campbell wrote the lyrics to the song and explained that some of the women are real and some are made up. Much of the song was inspired by women the group had encountered while moving from Boulder to New York City. He wrote the lyrics in 2 hours on a manual typewriter, and the band recorded it the next day. A music video was never produced. The song was, again, initially released in 1981, but re-released in 1984 in the Hotel for Women.
I know how they put it in the Mazda commercial. There was a version that was on the radio for a while that was edited.
Oh, yeah. Well, and not all of the song is not necessarily dirty, you know.
No,
Dinah drove her Chevrolet into the San Francisco Bay.
And that's what I said. I didn't find this song to be wildly inappropriate. I mean, there's a few lines and all. And I like this song and all. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. But this one, I think too many people overstate how inappropriate this song is, because when I think of wildly inappropriate, I think there are other songs on this list that beat this thing into the fucking dirt.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, this song is I think of it as being wildly inappropriate because it was basically my theme song in the 1990s. And I've often wanted to do my own version of it, but I don't want to get sued. So maybe not. I don't know. The next song in the list is Detachable Penis by King Missile. King Missile is an avant-garde American rock band best known for its 1992 single, Detachable Penis. Vocalist John S. Hall has fronted several desperate incarnations of the group since founding it in 1986. John S. Hall began presenting his work at an open mic poetry reading, and after 3 shows became featured as the poet Backfence. And he performed in venues in Manhattan's Greenwich Village. In 1986, feeling that 20 minutes of me reading poetry would be totally boring, he asked a guitarist friend, Dog Bowl or Stephen Tunney, to augment his performances. And that's basically how King Missile was born. So he also got guitarist Dave Rick, known as Bong Water, to help him out to put together the band. And they recruited multi-instrumentalist Chris Zefos, and this is about the time they became King Missile. And Ramirez, Jimmy Ramirez, was in the band too, but he left. Shortly after he was replaced by the drummer Roger Murdoch, the band went to record a cover of REM's song "Get Up" for the album "Surprise You Pig," a tribute to REM, which was released in 1992. It was followed by the band's second major label album, Happy Hour. And this is the album with Detachable Penis. Detachable Penis frontman John S. Hall recites a deadpan monologue in which he portrays the owner of the titular penis. After a night of heavy drinking, the narrator wakes to find his penis is missing, which has happened on a similar occasion. He looks for it at his apartment, calls the place where the party was to see if they'd found it, and asks some people if they were also at the party. Despite his best efforts, he is unable to recover his penis. Depressed, he goes to the Kiev restaurant for breakfast. He then encounters a street vendor who is in possession of the titular penis. He negotiates the price and buys his penis back for $17 and cleans and reattaches it at home. Detachable Penis. So the penis went off and had had an evening out by itself, and this guy's walking around trying to find his detachable penis.
I don't know. I thought the music on this was interesting. To really just start off with, I thought this was a silly song.
It is a silly song.
Didn't change my mind as the song went on. This is just a silly song. But this reminds me, because this is so funny, at least to me. So my car, when I connect my phone up to it, it'll play texts for me and allows me to send a text back by voice text.
And it reads the text for you.
And it reads the text back for me before it sends it. And a friend of mine asked me yesterday how my golf game went, and I said, it went for shit. I had a shitty day. And when it read it back to me, it bleeped out all the word shit. I thought that was funny.
Your car's editing you.
Yes.
I don't want my car to edit me. I want it to speak as I speak. You know, although I think it might have a problem with expressions like toady stack of fuck sticks, which is one we use a lot, or we used to use a lot. Toady sack of fuck sticks. So the next song in the list is Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry. This song is definitely one of those songs that is wildly inappropriate. Would you say this one is a?
Oh yes, this song is straight up about wild sex.
Yeah. It's an American hard rock band from Anaheim, California. The Buck Cherry. They were formed in '95. The band released 2 albums, Buck Cherry and Time Bomb, before dissolving in 2002. Buck Cherry's first album, Buck Cherry, was DreamWorks' first album to go gold, and in 2005, lead vocalist Josh Todd and lead guitarist Keith Nelson reformed Buck Cherry with a new lineup and released a new album in 2006. 15. It contains Buck Cherry's biggest crossover hit to date, Crazy Bitch, and their first Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 hit, Sorry. The band continued to record albums, released 5 between 2008 and 2019, Black Butterfly, All Night Long, Confessions, Rock and Roll, and War Paint. The 9th album, Hellbound, released in 2021, and their 10th and most recent album, Volume 10, released in 2023. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Crazy Bitch. It's the 6th single by American hard rock band Buck Cherry, inspired by the infamous Paris Hilton sex tape, One Night in Paris.
Really?
Yes, it was released as the first single from their 3rd studio album, 15, on January 31st, 2006. Crazy Bitch is the band's first single to hit the Billboard Hot 100 chart, debuting at number 99 and peaking at number 59. It earned a nomination for Best Hard Rock Performance at the 49th Annual Grammy Awards. Singer Josh Todd said the song was inspired by the, Paris Hilton sex tape. He said it kind of sparked the idea. All the guys that we know have had crazy girls that like that in their lives, so we wanted to write a song about the idea that people could latch on to. Guitarist Keith Nelson admitted that they didn't plan on Crazy Bitch being their first single, as evidenced by the amount of profanity, which made the song very radio unfriendly. However, satellite radio stations could play the song uncensored, and a few in New York City put the song on heavy rotation, garnering exposure. The original music video was filmed at the Key Club in Los Angeles, which was made to look like a strip club. Open casting call documented in a video on the band's site called Behind the Bitch was held, recruiting dancers and strippers for the low-budget video, which was directed by Ulf Budensick. The video exists in 2 versions, one X-rated and the other a clean version that has been aired on Fuse TV. The clean version, however, is not approved by MTV, who deemed more than 80 cuts, according to the July 13th, 2006 issue of Rolling Stone. Now, I tried to find the X-rated version. I couldn't find it to put in our YouTube playlist, so I just put lyrics, because the clean version, it's all bleeped out, so you miss half the song. Because the lyrics are, "You're a crazy bitch, but you fuck so good I'm on top of it." Again, they weren't planning on releasing this as a single at all, but everybody likes it because it's an awesome song.
It's a great song. It's been in my playlist for years. It was funny.
Yeah.
I saw a comment on YouTube on the page I thought was funny, and it was, quote, "Perfect song to listen to on the way to church on a bright Sunday morning."
That's funny.
This is a great song. I love this song.
It's a great song. I love this song. Yes, a wildly inappropriate and wildly fun, and something you should listen to. Maybe not with the kids around, but hey, there's a clean version of it out there. The next song on our list is "Boyfriend" by Tyler Cassidy. Tyler Cassidy, also known as Froggy Fresh, and before that Krispy Kreme, is an American singer, songwriter, and rapper. Cassidy became known after the comedy rap music video for his song "The Baddest" became popular on YouTube. Tyler Cassidy is a YouTube star. He continued rapping until 2018 when Cassidy stepped away from his Froggy Fresh character and began a career singing under his real name. And as of May 2023, Cassidy's Froggy Fresh rap YouTube channel has over 806,000 subscribers and 172 million videos viewed. While his Tyler Cassidy music channel has over 365,000 subscribers and 42 million video views. He began rapping at 19, and at 22, Cassidy began uploading videos as the character Krispy Kreme. The first Krispy Kreme video uploaded was the music video for "The Baddest." Uploaded on April 20th, 2012. It attracted attention from websites such as the Huffington Post and The Stranger. They noted that Krispy Kreme's deadpan delivery featured in "The Baddest" made many unsure if the video was authentic or satirical in nature. It was, in fact, satirical in nature. This kid's a comedy guy. This kid is also an incredible singer. That's what blows me away about this. After he stopped doing the Froggy Fresh stuff, he started just doing music straight up. But it was all humorous stuff. After releasing Escape from the Hood Mountain and going on tour, he dropped that Froggy Fresh stuff, and in 2018 he started uploading just straight up music. With soft piano melodies and honestly pretty offensive lyrics, Cassidy's internet presence today walks a drunk line between music, comedy, and cringe. It was written by Creative Loafing in 2019. He did release an album, but at this point, he's doing cameo work and not really releasing any new music. "Boyfriend." Let's talk about that song.
I found this song annoying from the start.
You don't like the song?
No.
Dude, I love the way the dude sings.
No. I mean, definitely wild and inappropriate, but just damn annoying as shit. I'm glad I didn't have to listen to that song twice. I couldn't stand it.
It's a love song. It's a love song. He's talking about this girl.
But it was annoying.
I
thought he was annoying. I thought his voice was annoying. I thought everything about the song was annoying. I mean, like I said, it fits the list as wildly inappropriate. It's just a terrible song.
You don't like the song?
No.
Dude, this song plays in my head rent-free about once a month. Just "'cause your boyfriend's a bitch, he ain't shit, he can't suck on my dick." When you're all alone while he's out running around with them hoes.
It's annoying. I've heard enough. Thank you.
Love this kid. He's got some other stuff like that too. I still think "Boyfriend's" his best tune. I'm not real crazy about the Froggy Fresh stuff. The reason he changed his name from Krispy Kreme to Froggy Fresh is Krispy Kreme sent him a letter and told him to stop.
I wish he'd stop singing.
Well, he has. He's done. He's doing other stuff now. The next song on our list is "Fuck You" by CeeLo Green. Born Thomas DeCarlo Calloway Burton, known professionally as CeeLo Green, is an American singer, rapper, and record producer. He is known for his soul-infused delivery in hip-hop and R&B, displaying his signature song "Crazy" with Danger Mouse as Gnarls Barkley, and his solo single, the radio-friendly "Forget You." The song is actually titled "Fuck You," and the way he made two versions of it. But "Fuck You" is my favorite version. CeeLo's from Atlanta. He was initially went to prominence as a member of the Southern hip hop group, the Goody Mob, in 1991. Following 3 studio albums with the group, he subsequently began a solo career and released 2 modestly successful albums for Arista Records, CeeLo Green and His Perfect Imperfections. CeeLo Green is the Soul Machine. And then he did Gnarls Barkley with Danger Mouse. Their debut album, St. Elsewhere, quickly achieved success with his lead single, Crazy. They did a couple of more, but his biggest hit was "Fuck You," and the song peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100s. Again, "Forget You" was on the Billboard Hot 100, not "Fuck You," because he released 2 versions of it. He was also he was on the television competition series The Voice. He got into some trouble later on due to stuff. I think he is no longer in trouble, but he's kind of persona non grata. But "Fuck You" it was a collaboration with Bruno Mars, the Smeezingtons, and Brody Brown. It was released on August 19th, 2010, and it was the first single from his album, The Lady Killer. And it received a lot of acclaim. Dude, I saw this playing on a video screen at Six Flags. Again, the clean version. And the whole time I'm giggling to myself thinking, this song's called "Fuck You." It's about a heartbreak, but it's also about the music industry itself. And he does not hold back. I mean, you can't go 10 words in this song without saying something offensive. And
okay. All right. So the music and singing on this one are really cool.
Yeah, great.
I love the old school sound on this, but
very old Motown or old Southern Motown sound. It's not really Motown. It's
You're right.
like Otis Redding.
But here's the deal. Other than saying "fuck you," what's really wildly inappropriate about this song? I mean, I understand it's somewhat offensive to say "fuck" that many times, but I didn't think this song was wildly inappropriate. It's just,
when he's talking about her, and he's like, yeah, she don't want to have nothing to do with no broke, and then he uses several other offensive words. Listen real close.
I did. I listened to it multiple times, and like I said, I just don't see this as wildly inappropriate. I just didn't. I think it's a good song. I think it's a fun song.
It's a great song.
But I disagree with this one being wildly inappropriate.
Wildly inappropriate.
I think wildly inappropriate. Again, as we talked about on another song, there are much more wildly inappropriate songs than this, and we've got one coming up.
Yeah, the next song is George Michael's Father Figure. Kids, this song played on Top 40 radio. It is about S&M.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, you are wrong.
What is this song about?
You are wrong. This is a very pretty song.
Yes, it is.
This is a very pretty song. It is wildly inappropriate, but there's different schools of thought of exactly what it means. It is not about S&M. Mm-hmm. Some people have said it was George Michael searching for something sacred in a sexual partner, mm-hmm. Because he had not come out as gay when the song was released. Some say that he's wanting to be a father or a teacher and a partner, or even one said from a stepfather's view. Mm-hmm. But if you use it with the term father figure, let's take this lyric. Here we go. That's all I wanted, something special, something sacred in your eyes, just for one moment, to be bold and naked at your side. It's at that point the lyrics become a little bit creepy. Mm-hmm. Well, one site even said, there's really no excuse for how weird this song actually is. Also, don't prey on anyone's childhood trauma just to get them into bed. That's just sleazy and manipulative. I've always found the song to be a bit inappropriate, but I really love this song. But then again, I'm really an inappropriate person.
Yeah, it's fine.
But it is not about S&M. It is not. It's
not?
No, it is about finding love in a partner, whether that's to a younger child, which some of the people think this song is, or to a gay partner, which people were thinking he was kind of on the cusp of coming out at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not about S&M.
Okay. Well, he did say that the initial concept was totally different from the way the song turned out. Now, this is more about the musical side of it.
Mm-hmm.
The initial concept for Father Figure was to make it kind of a mid-tempo dance track. And what happened was I wanted to hear something in my mix, so I happened to cut out the snare on the board, and suddenly it changed the whole entire mood of the track. Suddenly it seemed really dreamy, and this was halfway through writing it because I was writing the song as I was going along in the studio, and I just thought, well, hey, this is actually much better. So I worked the rest of the feel of the track around the spacey type sound, and it ended up in my mind being the most original sounding thing on the album. He is correct, because basically the album Faith, he was making a pop album specifically. He was constructing a pop album with some hooky lyrics and some other stuff and some stuff to get the kids to listen to it, and it worked. It was right. Mm-hmm. This song is not that. It also it has R&B ballad, elements of Middle Eastern music, and gospel.
I think the whole album to me is all about him mentally exploring his sexuality.
Yeah,
the whole album. You listen to there's I Want Your Sex, there's mm-hmm. Monkey, there's what's that really, really pretty one on there?
Kissing a Fool, beautiful song.
There's some really beautiful songs on here. It's really him at his finest. It is great. But I think the whole album is really about exploring your sexuality.
Right on. I would agree. And it's a great album. And good God, it was on top 40 forever.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. What's the big ballad that was so big? Teacher, there were things that I still want to know. And the last one?
One more try.
One more try. Yeah, that's a Torch song, man. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful tune, and he really opens up his pipes on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Sings the shit out of it. I still want that BSA motorcycle jacket. That's a badass motorcycle jacket. The next song on our list is "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy featuring Rick Rock Doucette. Orville Richard Burrell, better known by his stage name Shaggy, is a Jamaican-American reggae singer, rapper, and songwriter who scored hits with the song "It Wasn't Me," "Bombastic," "In the Summertime," "Oh Caroline," and "Angel." He's been nominated for 7 Grammy Awards, winning twice for Best Reggae Album with "Bombastic" in 1996, and then 44, 876 with Sting in 2019. He did an album with Sting in 2019. It's pretty good. In 2007, he was awarded the Jamaican Order of Distinction and ranked commander in 2022. He was awarded an honorary Doctor of Fine Arts degree from Brown University. But the first single from his 5th studio album, Hot Shot, was "It Wasn't Me." The song features vocals from Rick Rock. The lyrics of the song depict one man asking his friend, Rick Rock is the man asking his friend Shaggy what to do after his girlfriend caught him cheating on her with the girl next door. His friend Shaggy's character advises to deny everything, despite clear evidence to the contrary, with the phrase, "It wasn't me."
Completely stealing from Eddie Murphy.
Yes. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. But I mean, okay, so there are no dirty lyrics in this. Okay, there are no 4-letter words in this song, but he describes distinctly what he was doing with the next door neighbor when his girlfriend caught him. Oh my God, I love this song. It is so funny.
Again, I didn't find this one wildly inappropriate. I mean,
he did say it was inspired by "No Loyal Men" bit from Raw.
Okay, all right. That's because that's obviously where it came from. Yes, the song is about cheating. Let's go beyond that. It's not only about cheating, but it was about him asking his friend for help how to handle it.
Uh-huh.
and how to continue the behavior in the future.
Yes.
So again, maybe wrong, wildly inappropriate. Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah.
The next song is Never Say Never by Romeo Void. They were an American new wave post-punk, I would say even jazz band from San Francisco, California, formed in 1979. The band primarily consisted of saxophonist Benjamin Bossi, vocalist Deborah Ayal, guitarist Peter Woods, and bassist Frank Zascavage. The band went through 4 drummers, starting with Jay Dara and ending with Aaron Smith. The band released 3 albums: It's Condition, Benefactor, and Instincts, along with 1 EP. They are best known for the songs Never Say Never and A Girl in Trouble Is a Temporary Thing, the latter which became a top 40 pop single. The band started at San Francisco Art Institute by Ayal and Zen Scavage. They released a single and recently formed 415 Records before recording their debut album, which had been deemed a masterpiece of American post-punk. The success of their second release, a 4-song EP, Never Say Never, which I have on vinyl, baby, resulted in a distribution deal with Columbia Records. The band continued to release music and tour until they broke up in 1985. The members have reunited briefly over the years. Ayal has continued to pursue music as a side project. Ayal garnered acclaim as a skilled lyricist who explored themes like sexuality and alienation from a female perspective with searing imagery. Deborah Ayal is a native, and her big proponent is we don't see enough natives in music, and but she didn't want to do like tribal dances or anything. She just wanted to be a person and be recognized as a native. She's also had I think it was the University of Hawaii. She was a literary professor out there for a while. Just as, trying to focus on the DIY aspect of like the punk rock, which we've discussed before. The do-it-yourself thing should encompass all the different kinds of emotions and all the different kinds of colors, is what she said. She was proud of being an American Indian, so she purposely never bleached her hair blonde. Never Say Never was a favorite on early MTV, featuring a black and white music video and spoofs of the Jean-Luc Godard film Breathless. The song is driven by a throbbing, funky bass line and punctuated by jagged guitar and saxophone. What did you think about Never Say Never?
So I've known this song for years. I've heard it for years on First Wave and whatnot.
Yeah.
Again, though, I don't think this is wildly inappropriate, and I put wildly all in caps when I say that. I understand it's about casual, meaningless sex.
Yeah.
But I can think of other songs that I might put here instead. Darlin' Nikki would be one of them.
Yeah, Darlin' Nikki is about casual, meaning sex. Better hot hotel lobby masturbating with a magazine.
Yeah, a lot more wildly inappropriate than this one. Like I said, it's another one of these that I just don't think fits the list.
Not so much. Okay. Okay. The next song in our list is Shave 'Em Dry by Lucille Bogans. This song is wildly inappropriate.
Oh, no argument with this. No argument. This song is just nasty. and the song fits the list. The more I listened to the song, the more shocking it got.
And it was recorded in 1933.
Yeah.
Okay, so how these records like this worked back in the day. They got shipped to record stores and they were put in the back. You would go into the record store. If you were an adult, you'd go up to the record store clerk and go, "Hey, I need a party record." And they would look at you and make sure you were old enough and go, "Do you want comedy or do you want music or do you want both?" And then they would let you into the back to see what they had. And you would have them basically to play at parties, hence the name Party Record. Lucille Bogan didn't just record party records. She recorded other stuff too, This is just her most famous stuff because it is so freaking dirty. The title.
It's not dirty. It's not just dirty. It's nasty.
The title of the song, Shave 'Em Dry. Do you know what shave 'em dry means?
Oh, yeah.
Emptying your nuts.
Yeah.
Lucille Bogan, born Lucille Anderson, April 1st, 1897 to August 10th, 1948, was an American classic female blues singer and songwriter, among the first to be recorded. She also recorded under the pseudonym Bessie Jackson. Music critic Ernest Borneman noted that Bogan was one of the big three of the blues, along with Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith. Many of Bogan's songs have been recorded by later blues and jazz musicians. Many of her songs were sexually explicit, and she is generally considered to have been a dirty blues musician. Again, like Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith, who also released party records. But because they were kind of underground, and when I say underground, they were in the back of the shops. And if you knew what to ask for, you could come in and get it. But it was one of those things that nobody talked about. Except, at parties. In 2022, she was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. She first recorded vaudeville songs for Okie Records in New York in 1923 with the pianist Henry Callens. Later that year, she recorded Pawn Shop Blues in Atlanta, Georgia. This was the first time a black blues singer had been recorded outside of New York or Chicago. In 27, she began recording for Paramount Records in Grafton, Wisconsin, where she recorded her first big success, Sweet Petunia, which is a regular song. It was covered by Blind Blake. She also recorded for Brunswick Records, backed by Tampa Red. But by 1930, her songs tended to concern drinking and sex, such as Sloppy Drunk Blues. And the following year, she recorded others like Tricks Ain't Walking No More, which were slightly dirty, but not like this. Her final recording with Roland and Josh White included 2 takes of Shave 'Em Dry, recorded in New York, Tuesday, March 5th, 1935. I'm sorry, I said 33. It was 35. The expurgated alternate take is notorious for its explicit sexual references, unique recording of the lyrics sung in after-hours adult clubs, and also played on party records. Another of her songs, BD Woman's Blues, takes the position of a BD standing for Bull Dyke, which is not something we normally say anymore, but for a male presenting lesbian. With the lyrics coming at a time, BD women, they ain't got no need no men. They got a head like a sweet angel, and they walk just like a natural man, and they can lay their job just like a natural man. She appears to not have recorded after this session. This is actually the last thing she recorded, because she went on to help with her son's jazz group, Bogan's Birmingham Busters. And then she moved to Los Angeles, which is where she died of coronary sclerosis in 1948. She had a nice long run. And again, she was in the business for a long time, but that was the thing. You recorded these dirty songs, you sold them as party records, but when you went out and toured, you didn't play these songs. You played these songs after hours. It was like the old comedians. You had a clean 5 to 10 minutes, and then you had the stuff that was really funny that you told to other comedians, and you told in burlesque houses, which were 18 and up. You had some, they might be a little bawdy. They might be a little, like Ma Rainey stuff is a little bawdy, or Bessie Smith, I want to put some sugar in my bowl. Yeah, it's a little bawdy, but she doesn't actually say anything dirty. In this case, this woman does. I got nipples on my titties big as the end of my thumb. I got something between my legs, make a dead man come. Those are the first lines of the song, kids.
Yep.
She talks about crabs. There's 2 versions of this, and neither one of them are clean. So, do you think this one is wildly inappropriate? What do you think about this?
Yeah. Like I said, there's no argument on this. This one is wildly appropriate. It's just nasty.
Nasty.
And the song doesn't let up.
No, it does not.
The more it goes on, the worse it gets.
Yeah, nastier. The thing was that This version that I included, she didn't actually know all the lyrics. That somebody had been writing some of them down. She like knew some of them because she did two versions of the song. The other version is a little more tame than this one, but someone just handed her the lyrics. That's why she starts giggling in the recording. She starts reading ahead. But yeah, that's Lucille Bogan, Shave 'Em Dry. Kids, go out and check this one out. You know how I say a lot of the, oh, hey, things back in the day, people are talking about, hey, back in the day, things were pure and they weren't dirty and that was bullshit. It was just kept behind closed doors. This is one of those doors that was open. And you don't think we weren't talking about this stuff back in the day? This was recorded in 1935. It is 90 years old. 89 years old right now at this time. Okay, so what do you think about this song other than it's just nasty? Do you like it?
Oh, it's okay. I wouldn't listen to it again and again and again. It's just.
Well, you're not a big fan of the blues and jazz stuff.
No, not at all.
I can understand that. The next one is Lenny Kravitz's Black Velveteen. Leonard Albert Kravitz is an American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and actor born in New York City to TV news producer Cy Kravitz and actress Roxy Roker. Kravitz was exposed to the entertainment industry at a very young age, and as a child, Lenny showed a keen interest in music. And by his teenage years, he began embarking on a music career with styles mixing rock, funk, reggae, hard rock, soul, and R&B. Kravitz has had numerous hit singles over his career, including It Ain't Over Till It's Over, and Again, each of which resulted in top 10 of the Billboard Top 100 charts. Other hits include Let Love Rule, Always on the Run, Are You Gonna Go My Way, Fly Away, American Woman. Each one reached the top 10 of the American alternative airplay charts. Black Velveteen is the sixth and last single to be released from the 5 album by Lenny Kravitz. It's about technology. As he said, we're getting so pulled in by computers and technology, and our kids have their faces in the computers all day. We have our faces in computers all day, and the human relationship is being diminished by this. So I figured, well, okay, so we're so into computers and we're so into technology, and now we're also beginning to play God and go into cloning and all kinds of things. So we don't like to have relationships. We like to have them, but we don't like to keep them. So this song is about building a sex robot. Yep. That's what this song is about. It's about building a sex robot. Mm-hmm. And he calls his Black Velveteen, and it is, let's just say it's a little inappropriate.
Oh yeah, it's pretty inappropriate. And the song itself is just, I love guitars like this that just sound dirty.
Yeah. Like fuzzy guitars.
Yeah.
Because it is fuzzy as fuck.
I love this song. This is a great damn song. Funny enough, this song was played at my wedding.
Yes.
This is a great song. I have this in multiple playlists because I can't get enough of this song. Just his sound in this song is great, but it is definitely wildly inappropriate. It is about technology and sex and using it as your slave. It's pretty damn inappropriate.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely inappropriate, but not as dirty as some of the others we've done. No, but the idea is wildly inappropriate because he makes a sex robot that is basically his love slave.
Yes.
A sentient sex robot, or at least it appears to be in the song, named Black Velveteen. The next song is a cover by Metallica. It is called So What. Sorry. It is off the album Garage Inc., which was a compilation album of cover songs by American heavy metal band Metallica. It was released on November 24th, 1998 through Elektra Records. It includes cover songs, B-side covers, and the $5.98 EP Garage Days Revisited, which has gone out of print since the original release in 1987. The title is a combination of Garage Days Revisited and Metallica's song Damon Jank for Masters of Puppets. The album's graphical cover displays heavily from the 1987 EP. The album features songs by artists that have influenced Metallica, including many bands from the new wave of British heavy metal, hardcore punk bands, and popular songs. So What is a song by the British punk band Anti-Nowhere League. And when they say fucking punk, they fucking mean it. It first appeared on the B-side of the band's debut 7-inch single Streets of London in 1981. It was added as the bonus track for We Are, the League's re-release in 2001. The song has been covered by Metallica and released as a B-side to the Sad But True single, and later included on the aforementioned Garage Inc. album. It is also a bonus track on the Asian version of Metallica album, which would go on to become an in-concert standard by the band. So apparently they play this a lot in concert. The band performed the song immediately after Last Caress instead of Kings of Nothing, which was taken from their then new album Load. The entire performance was aired live and uncensored. Sum 41 often uses a Metallica version as outro music played over the sound system at their concerts. So What is a dirty, it's hardcore punk kids trying to be as offensive as they can be, and it is offensive.
Yeah, I didn't even know where to it. I didn't even know where to begin on this one. It's Metallica, so it's great, but damn, the lyrics, holy crap.
Oh yeah. This is why I like hardcore punk, because it's irreverent. And I will say this, I like the Metallica version better than the Anti-Nowhere League, because the Anti-Nowhere League were not great musicians, whereas Metallica is. And what's cool is I think that when they play it now, it sounds better, because Robert Trujillo was originally with a hardcore punk. He's a hardcore punk bass player, whereas Jason Newsted, when they recorded it, was not. He was a heavy metal guy. Robert Trujillo, he can flat out play hardcore punk bass lines, which is, granted that it's usually only three chords, but it's played exceedingly fast and exceedingly hard, and you break strings and picks and just because of the play. So what do you think about this one?
I think I covered it. I love Metallica, so it's great, but it's just, the lyrics are shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Bestiality.
I think Shave 'Em Dry is probably our most shocking one on the list. This is, and that's 1A. This is 1B.
1B. Yeah, they're equally as shocking. Yeah. If you get a chance, you should go out and hear the Anti-Nowhere League's version, although I don't think you're going to like it nearly as much as this one.
I did. I listened to both.
Yeah. And you're not a fan of the Anti-Nowhere League?
Nah.
I did not figure those guys would float your boat. But yeah, that's about it for the Wildly Inappropriate music list. We will put another one of these together later on. We had some disagreements on what is wildly inappropriate and what is not. But in some cases, it's not just necessarily dirty words. In some cases, it's just the subject matter of the song.
Yeah, some of them I didn't even think the subject matter was wildly inappropriate. I thought, somewhat, because when I think wildly inappropriate, wildly is in caps. Shave 'Em Dry.
Wildly inappropriate.
Big ones.
Hey, A Ballad of Chasey Lane, wildly inappropriate.
Exactly. And so that's what I think about with that. But anyway, good list. That was a lot of fun to go through.
Yep.
Really interesting. Hope everybody goes out, checks that out. Check out the video.
Yeah, make sure you when we upload this, you click the button. I will do the same thing on the YouTube playlist, because this is definitely not one for the kiddies.
Click the button.
Yeah, click the button that says not for kids.
Oh, the E.
Yeah.
I clicked that for all of our episodes. So.
Oh, nice.
So
fuck.
No worries there. No worries there. God, as I look at myself in the camera, my forehead is so red. Jeez.
When you get some sun?
Oh yeah.
Golfing?
I got sunburned last weekend, and then some more yesterday, and then I'm going out again today. So
you should wear a hat.
And I don't like wearing a hat with sunglasses. It's a thing.
Okay.
It's a thing. I'd rather wear the sunglasses. So, all right. With that, we'll step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For today, I got my information off Medium, the Daily News, and Wikipedia, and this is the murder of Renae Wicklund.
Renae Wicklund.
So, it was the winter of 1974. And 23-year-old Renae Wicklund was living the American dream. She and her husband Jack had recently settled in their very first home in the suburbs of Clearview, Washington. And to round out their perfect lives, they were also the proud parents of a baby girl they named Shanna. On a Sunday afternoon in late December, while her husband was at work, Renae decided to take advantage of the unusually warm temperatures by cleaning the outside windows. She had made a family affair out of the chore by letting Shanna, who was a little over a year old at the time, play in the grass nearby. And the Wicklund home was situated a good distance from the road, which offered the family a sense of privacy they'd come to appreciate. Strangers seldom wandered into the area, which made it all the more surprising when Renae glanced up to see a tall man with a head of wildly unkempt hair coming up the driveway. When the two locked eyes, the man had done an abrupt about-face and headed back the way he came, and the young mother hadn't thought much about the brief encounter. She assumed that he was looking for someone and realized at the last minute he had the wrong house, and undeterred by the interruption, she returned to the task at hand.
Right on.
Within a matter of seconds, he was back, but this time around, he was running towards Renae and the baby, and in a panic, she dropped everything and rushed to gather up the little girl, and once she had Shanna safely in her arms, she made a beeline for the front door with her pursuer right on her heels. Renae managed to make it inside, but not in time to close the door, and before she knew it, the man, who stood well over 6 feet tall and outweighed her by over 100 pounds, was standing in her living room. Still hoping for a way out, she put on a brave front and calmly asked if there was something she could do for him. His response to her was terrifying. In a voice devoid of emotion, he ordered her to take off her clothes or he would kill the kid.
Wow.
As if to prove he meant business, he produced a knife and held it dangerously close to Shanna's face. As her distraught daughter howled in protest, Renae did as she was told. She knew that their only hope of making it out alive was for her to give in to his demands. During the sexual assault that followed, Renae tried to memorize every last detail of her assailant's appearance, but it hadn't been difficult. He had a shock of electrified red hair with a beard and a mustache to match, which was like nothing she had ever seen before. Unforgettable hair aside, it was the man's eyes that set him apart from most of humanity. Try as she might, Renae couldn't detect a single shred of decency or empathy hidden within his eyes, which reminded her of two bottomless pools of total darkness. When he was finished, the attacker straightened his clothing as if nothing had happened before thanking her and leaving without uttering another word. Fearing he would return at any moment, Renae grabbed Shanna and ran out the back door of her house. Ran out of the door of the house to her safe haven, which was fortunately only a few yards away. Barbara and Don Hendrickson were the Wicklunds' closest neighbors. The families had been fast friends from the moment they met, and the middle-aged couple adored both Renae and Shannon, treating them like their own. This was where she retreated following the savage attack, and Barbara knew the minute she answered the frantic pounding on the door that something terrible had happened. Renae's face was white as a sheet as she rushed inside. Her clearly agitated daughter was held tightly to her chest, and with her voice shaking, Renae blurted out that she had been raped and that the man might still be close by. Springing into action, Barbara had grabbed her shotgun before dialing the police, and then she had stood watch until help arrived, fully prepared to shoot anyone who even set foot on the property. When investigators heard Renae's story, a person of interest quickly came to mind. Charles Rodman Campbell was a career criminal who fit the assailant's description to a T. Unfortunately, when the officers went looking for him, they discovered he had gone into hiding, and 2 agonizing years would pass before he would again resurface. In the meantime, Renae and her husband separated, in part because of the stress the assault had placed on their marriage. And even though they were no longer living under the same roof, the couple remained close and made a point of spending time together as a family for Shanna's benefit. By this point, Renae was employed as a beautician and part-time accountant. She was a whiz with numbers, and she worked from home, balancing the books for several local salons. She made a good living, which enabled her and Shanna to live a comfortable life. But even so, the man who had taken so much from them was still on the loose, and she was constantly on the edge, never knowing when he might strike again. In 1976, Campbell was finally apprehended and brought in for questioning in connection with the home invasion and sexual assault. And when the time came for Renae to pick him out of the lineup, she identified the man who raped her without a moment's hesitation, saying she would never forget that face. At trial, both Renae and Barbara were asked to recount the events of that December day in front of the jury. And for his part, Campbell did not testify in his own defense, and no character witnesses were called on his behalf. After weighing the evidence, the jury returned with the verdict of guilty on the charge of first-degree rape. And as punishment for the act, Campbell was ordered to serve 40 years in state prison.
40?
40. 40.
Nice.
A prison psychologist in 1979 described Campbell as consciousness.
He doesn't have a conscience?
He was without conscience.
There we go. Okay.
Blithely uncaring of others and imminently harmful to all who directly or indirectly capture his attention or interest. Even his parents considered him a bad seed and said that executing was probably the only way he would never hurt anyone again.
Wow.
So with her attacker behind bars, Renae could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Secure in the belief that the monster who haunted her every waking moment was no longer a threat, she was ready to get on with her life. She never dreamed, however, he would be back out on the street sooner than she or anyone else expected. Just as things were getting back to normal, Renae received word that her ex-husband had been attacked in his home by an intruder who tied him to a chair, doused him with gasoline, and set him on fire.
Holy crap.
Jack miraculously survived, but the horrific burns he suffered required that he wear a rubber suit to protect his parched skin. And physically and emotionally scarred, he spiraled into a deep depression. 5 months after the arson attack, 38-year-old Jack Wicklund was killed in a single-car accident he was driving home from his parents' house. It was later determined his vehicle had left the pavement and smashed head-on into a tree, but to this day it's uncertain whether his actions were deliberate or if he was forced off the road by someone who wanted him dead. Renae was devastated when she learned of Jack's untimely passing, and although she was grieving, she knew she had to be strong for Shanna, who had experienced far too much trauma for somebody so young.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the obstacles they faced, however, mother and daughter always got through the hard times together.
What year was this that the guy died?
1979.
Okay, the guy went to jail in 79.
Or, yeah, it was 1979. I don't.
I'm sorry,
No, I don't have.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep. Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to keep the timeline in order. Sorry.
Yeah. Somewhere after 1979. It doesn't. I don't have an exact date for that.
Okay.
Shortly after Jack was laid to rest, Renae adopted a dog that both she and Shanna adored. They'd started a new life in the house, which was the first step for what they'd hoped would be a fresh start. And the dog had also given them a much-needed sense of security. 4 years would pass without any major upheavals in the Wicklund household. Renae's accounting business was thriving, and Shanna was doing well in school, and life was good for the first time in a very long time. So now we're in the winter of 1982. So between 79 and 82 is when that all happened.
Okay.
Renae's mother traveled from her home in North Dakota to spend time with her daughter and granddaughter. She would later recall there was a couple of unsettling incidents that marred an otherwise pleasant visit. One night, as the family was enjoying a quiet night in each other's company, the dog, who rarely made a peep, began pacing the floor and barking frantically. They tried calming him down, but he barreled wildly back and forth between the front door and the living room window. Renae's mom was alarmed by the dog's behavior, but she didn't want to say anything and risked causing undue worry. Even though she was tempted to pull back the curtains and take a peek outside, she didn't because she was afraid of what she might see. And the next morning, she and Renae noticed footprints of a very large man in the snow beneath the picture window. Later on in the day, they would learn that Dawn and Barbara Hendrickson had also discovered similar tracks in their yard.
Wow.
On another occasion, Renae's mother had observed her staring out the window at something in the distance, and when she asked if anything was wrong, Renae hesitated for a moment before assuring her everything was fine. However, her mother could tell by the expression on her face that something wasn't right. Considering what was to come, she would later wonder what terrible thing her daughter had seen lurking in the shadows. These events, although they were troubling, didn't seem overly important at the time. Renae had never told her mother about the rape or her attacker's threat to kill Shanna. She carried the burden of that awful day without ever letting anyone know in her family how close she had come to death at the hands of a madman, and this was her nature because she didn't want to worry them. A few weeks after Renae's mother returned home, the Wicklund dog nipped a child that prompted them to have to find a new home for the dog. And with their canine protector out of the picture, she and Shanna were once again alone. On April 14th, 1982, Renae was resting at home while she recovered from a case of strep throat. Barbara had been helping to nurse her back to health with a steady supply of homemade soups and other easy-swallow foods. And early that evening, she told her husband she was going to go take Renae something to eat. She'd be right back. An hour went by and then another, and there was no sign of Barbara. Since it was unusual for her to stay out past supper time, he figured he better go next door to see if everything was all right. So he donned his coat and headed next door to the house, and when he arrived, he was surprised to see the front door was ajar. Knowing that Renae had been very safety conscious over the recent years, it really instantly raised alarm bells for him. And he said crossing the threshold, he was met with a silence so deafening that it made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. Near the entryway, he saw Barbara, who's the only woman he ever loved, lying face down in a pool of blood. There was a deep penetrating gash across her throat that left no doubt in his mind that she was no longer living. He was afraid to venture in further, but he knew he didn't have a choice. Renae and Shanna were still in the house somewhere, and he hoped against hope that he had gotten there in time to save them from the monster who had killed his wife. He passed Shanna's room and saw that it was empty, and then he made his way down the hall until he reached Renae's room. And stretched out on the floor beside the bed was the brutalized body of Renae Wicklund. She had taken such a vicious beating that he wouldn't have known it was her had he not been standing in her home. He would later learn that nearly every bone in her face had been broken before her killer sliced her throat, and a few feet from her mother's body lay the crumpled form of the 9-year-old Shanna. Shanna had been slashed across the throat with such ferocity that she was nearly decapitated. Her earlobes had also been mutilated, indicating that her killer had ripped out her earrings during the attack. Don, reeling from the gruesome discoveries, he stumbled out on the street and yelled for help. And when police arrived, they asked him if he knew anyone who might have had a vendetta against Renae. And he replied that the only person he could think of was the man who had raped her years earlier, but it couldn't be him since he was still in prison. In his frazzled state, he couldn't even remember the attacker's name.
That's understandable.
Right. Investigators noted that the killer had made little effort to cover up the crime or conceal his identity. There was a bloody handprint found on a drinking glass that was sitting on the kitchen counter. And a neighbor reported they had seen a large, bushy-haired man holding a knife in his hand hanging around the Wicklund home on the day of the murders. However, for some inexplicable reason, they had failed to inform authorities or Renae of the man's presence. So detectives said,
"Why not?"
Well, because they just didn't. They saw something, they didn't say something.
Yeah. Remember, kids, if you see something, say something.
Right. Detectives set to work piecing together a timeline for the day of the murders. And they theorized that the killer had entered the residence while Renae was alone. He had beaten and raped her before taking her life. And judging by the excessive amount of violence that had been inflicted upon her, it was surmised that she was the primary target. From what investigators could gather, Barbara and Shanna had simply been collateral damage. And after finishing with Renae, the killer had ransacked the house, stealing jewelry and anything else he could pawn for some quick cash. Later that afternoon, Shanna had returned home from school and come face to face with the attacker. And sometime after Shanna was killed, Barbara happened upon the scene. Her body had been found near the hallway, leading authorities to conclude that she had been running for the door when she had been overtaken by someone much bigger and stronger than her, and she had been slain only a few feet from her only means of escape. After looking into possible leads provided by Don Hendrickson, investigators learned that Renae's assailant was a man named Charles Rodman Campbell, and contrary to what they had been told, he had been released to a halfway house a year earlier.
He got 40 years and he served a year and a half?
Well, it was at least 79 when he went in. This was in 82, so 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not only that, the halfway house he'd been furloughed to was less than 10 miles from the house.
So he could have walked there in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This time around, Campbell was easy to find. He was still on the police radar and supposedly under supervision when he was taken into custody. At the time of his arrest, jewelry belonging to Renae was found in the pockets of his jacket he was wearing, along with the earrings that had been torn from Shanna's ears. A search of his vehicle turned up traces of blood that matched that of the victims. So Charles Campbell was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Renae, Shanna, and Barbara, and his motive for the slayings was believed to have been an obsessive need for revenge. The man who committed crimes as easily as most people breathe couldn't get over the fact that Renae had reported the rape to the police. Campbell's girlfriend at the time of his arrest claimed he would often drive by the Wicklund home when he was on work release, hoping to catch a glimpse of Renae. Another person that didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he'd been stalking her for months prior to the murders, just waiting for the opportunity to strike. During the trial, Campbell's ex-wife tested he had sexually assaulted her on 2 separate occasions in 1981 after being released from prison on good behavior. She'd attempted to file charges, but authorities refused to pursue the case, citing a lack of evidence.
The guy just got out of prison for doing that.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Suspecting that his hostile demeanor wouldn't go over well with the jury, Campbell's lawyers declined to put him on the stand, and in December of 1984, he was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to death. Even though Campbell hadn't shown the slightest hesitation when it came to taking the lives of others, he fought tooth and nail to save his own. In the ensuing years, one appeal after another was filed on his behalf in an attempt to overturn the death sentence, but fortunately none were successful. As he awaited execution, Campbell never showed any remorse for his crimes, and he was actually downright indignant at being held accountable in the first place. By his warped sense of reality, if someone made him angry, he had every right to lash out, even if they didn't survive the encounter, so be it. Interview with Campbell by prison psychologists concluded he had a, quote, near total lack of empathy for other human beings and felt that it was his right to live life and act how he pleased, and he also had the right to destroy anyone who angered them. He told them, quote, the world has created me and I'm free to do what I want. There is no right or wrong or anyone to tell me what to do.
Huh.
His delusions of grandeur were so big that he had spat at the governor when he paid a visit to the prison to make sure that the inmates were being taken care of. And even when it would have behooved him to mind his manners, he simply couldn't abide by the rules of society. Another of his acts of arrogance occurred when it came to choose his method of execution. In Washington state, death row inmates could opt for lethal injection or hanging, and Campbell, ever the victim, refused to state his preference on the grounds that to do so would be akin to committing suicide. So, since he wouldn't decide for himself, the state did it for him, and after giving some consideration, they ruled that Campbell would face the hangman's noose.
Oh. He got hoisted up on the yardarm. Yep. Wow.
And in 1994, with all his appeals exhausted, Charles Campbell finally faced justice in the gallows at Walla Walla State Prison. True to form, he fought every step of the way, literally. When guards came to remove him from his cell, he dropped to the floor in protest. And in the end, he had to be subdued by pepper spray and carried out. When they reached the platform, Campbell refused to hold still while the noose was being positioned around his neck. He bobbed and weaved like a boxer in a vain attempt to avoid the inevitable. And after much wrangling, the noose was put in place and the execution proceeded. His death had been quick and painless, the entire process lasting only 2 short minutes. Later, while cleaning out Campbell's holding cell, authorities found a 4-inch piece of metal that he had been sharpening into a knife.
He was just going to kill a bunch of guards and run away?
Probably. I mean, there were so many mistakes that were made in the Campbell case. The fact that he was a merciless predator, he'd been in trouble with the law since the age of 16 and was released to prey on the public again. And that's really, that's just the tip of the iceberg there.
So he should have never been out to rape that lady in the first place.
No.
He sure as hell shouldn't have been out afterwards.
No, absolutely. I mean, his violent tendencies had been well documented from early on. Campbell's mother claimed he had sex with a pet dog he adopted, and after learning of his arrest for first-degree murder, she told investigators, quote, "It was inevitable. I never believed he was going to end up anywhere but the electric chair."
Wow.
As a condition of his parole, he was also required to attend rape counseling sessions, but he ended up becoming romantically involved with his counselor, which led to the therapy being terminated. She actually became pregnant, gave birth to Campbell's second child.
Wow.
In spite of this, no measures had ever been taken to permanently remove him from society. Official reports released in 1985 showed that a counselor at the Monroe Reformatory, where Campbell had once done time, had hired inmates to act as enforcers inside the prison walls. In exchange for their services, the counselor would embrace infractions, no matter how serious. And this glossing over the truth allowed the worst troublemakers like Campbell to qualify for early release, which is how he got out. It also helped him apply for and granted time off for good behavior. The records also noted that Campbell had a reputation as a bully, even in the most hardened of inmates. His actions, which included sexually assaulting weaker prisoners, dated back to his early incarcerations and continued right up until the day of his execution. He'd been proven to be uncontrollable, even under the strictest of conditions. Guards and inmates alike kowtowed to him rather than the risk of setting him off. He was known to have a hair-trigger temper and a long history of violence, and even professionals charged with his care considered him untouchable. Some found him so intimidating they even petitioned to have him moved to another facility. So lawsuits abounded in the years following the murders. Campbell's ex-wife sued the state for negligence in the handling of her rape allegations. She asserted if her complaint had been taken seriously, Campbell's parole would have never been revoked. Had that happened, he would have been sent back to prison to serve out the remainder of his sentence, and 3 lives could have been saved. Renae's mother also filed a negligence suit, claiming the state had an obligation to inform victims of violent crimes when their assailants were released ahead of schedule. She believed, as had her daughter, that 40 years behind bar meant just that. I agree with that. It should.
Yeah. You're going to let them off for good behavior. Yeah, okay. I can see that. A year and a half, 2 years on a 40-year sentence? How about we give him a decade to start?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that. Renae's mother argued that had Renae known that Campbell was free, she would have taken the necessary steps to protect herself and Shanna. Don Hendrickson, using a similar argument, was awarded nearly $1 million in compensatory damages. He would never understood why none of the agencies involved had thought it prudent to let the victims know that the attacker she had thought had been taken off the street was only living a few miles away.
Yeah.
Today, though, Washington State employs a voluntary advance notification system that informs victims when their perpetrator is moved or released. It's not automatic and does require paperwork, but it does offer a safety net to survivors of violent crime.
Nice.
In 2023, due to DNA technology, Campbell was also identified as the likely killer of University of Washington student Haley Ann Seaman, who was last seen alive on April 29, 1975. And remember, Campbell was still hiding after his attack from Renae in 74.
Oh, my God. He raped and killed somebody while he was hiding out. Okay.
She had been sexually assaulted and repeatedly stabbed. Her station wagon had been set on fire 4 miles from where her body was found. Detectives logged 120 names of possible suspects that arose during their investigation, but Campbell wasn't one of them. noting that Campbell was only free for about a year between his initial attack on the Wicklund's home in 74 and his arrest in early 76. Seattle police detective Rolf Norton encouraged other police agencies to take a look at their own unsolved cases from that time period to see if it's possible Campbell committed similar crimes in their jurisdictions. Until they do, we'll just kind of have to wait and see.
Right on.
But that's the story of the murder of Renae Wicklund.
Well, thank you for that. Maybe I shouldn't take glee in this, but they pepper sprayed him and then put a hood on him. That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I think he suffered a little bit. They probably beat the snot out of him while he was on the floor.
Shit, it sounds like they probably had to.
Yeah. So. Yep. So anyway, thanks for walking down that journey with me. Appreciate it. That'll take us to the end of another recording week. As always, you can find more information about us on nerderyandmurdery.com. That's our hub for everything we talk about. You can find links to this episode plus pictures of the stuff we talk about. Plus, you can also find the link to our YouTube page, which Zig so often updates.
Yes, for this we have included all of the music, videos, things of that nature. There's also a Spotify playlist where you can go out and catch the music as well as this episode, if you want to listen to it that way.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You can also find the link to our merchandise our merchandise page, where if you wish to show off your Nerdery and Murdery fandom, please do consider purchasing something from our store. That, along with our Patreon, our patrons do help us with the costs that are associated with this show. It's not cheap, and it does cost to upload the episodes, produce them, keep our website going, everything like that. So please do consider becoming a patron. It really helps us out, and we appreciate each and every one of you.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Last but not least, please don't forget to leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It really helps us and helps others find our content that may be looking for the topics we're discussing. So with that,
I have been Zig with your Nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery.
Easy music.